Hello, Dharma friends. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, I'm coming to you from my backyard. It's such a beautiful day that I thought I would deliver my Dharma message from here. We don't get too many cool mornings like this in Arizona, especially as we approach the end of May. So thank you very much for joining me in my backyard. And because we're here, you may hear the occasional sound of birds chirping, maybe a dog barking here and there, or even a car driving down the road on the other side of my wall. So please bear with me as we work through those sounds, but I think this might just add to our enjoyment for the moment. So why don't we start with Gasho? So would you please put your hands together and join me in Gasho? Why read a letter written by our founder, Shinran Shonin, when he was around 80 years old, and this would have gone to one of his followers. So please join me in Gasho while I read this portion of a letter. In no way is birth accomplished through the calculating of foolish beings. Neither can it be the object of calculation of the eminently wise. Even the masters entrust themselves utterly to the power of the vow to attain birth, without calculating in any way. But it is an especially rare and splendid result of good karma that ordinary people like yourselves should hear of the vow and encounter Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Nobutsu, Namo Nobutsu, Namo Nobutsu, Namo Nobutsu. So hello again. Happy again that you can be here with me. And today I actually brought someone else to join us today. It's a special guest. So before I introduce our special guest, I want you to reflect on today's date. Today is May 23rd. And 2 days ago was a very special day for Gyoto Shinchu Buddhists. Does anyone have any idea what that day was? Well, obviously, I don't know if you're raising your hand or shouting out an answer, so I don't want to leave you in suspense. So 2 days ago, on May 21st, was the birthday of Shinran Chonin, the founder of our tradition. And so here's our guest I brought with us. So this tiny statue is a replica of the one that we actually have sitting outside our temple next to our bell tower. So I brought Shinran with us today in recognition of his birthday. Shinran was born on May 21st in the year 1173, and he passed away 90 years later in January of 1263. So he lived a long, fruitful life. But since today is his birthday, we need to do something very special for him. All right, so it's a little breezy today. Let's see if this will work. We'll sing Happy Birthday to Shinran. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shinran. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Rituals are important, aren't they? So, one of the things that Shinran brought to us in our lives was the idea that the vow of Amida Buddha comes to us. And that vow is that all sentient beings saying Namo Amida Butsu shall be born in Amida Buddha's pure land so that they may become Buddhas there. There's no calculating at all on our part because it comes to us. It's a very simple message, yet one that's really hard to grasp. And so what does that mean in our day-to-day lives? Well, as Buddhists, we frequently hear things about following the Eightfold Path or the Six Paramitas, how we also need to, practice right mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is a loaded word, and we hear that quite a bit in our society. In fact, it's even something that transcends Buddhism. We hear it all over society. You don't have to be Buddhist to practice mindfulness. And there's all kinds of books out there to help us be more mindful. So my question to you is, do you think you have to be mindful to be a good Buddhist? I mean, we talk about it a lot, but is that really required? So sometimes we get caught up in our day-to-day lives and we want to try to be better people or maybe better Buddhists, and there's things out there to help us. And so I picked this up at a grocery store not long ago because it talks about 99 ways to live a more mindful life. In fact, It even says feel better with mindfulness. And there's a lot of useful tips in here and things that you can do. And one of the ones is practicing mindful eating. Have you heard of mindful eating before? It's something that is kicked around a lot as a way to practice mindfulness in the moment. And so let me just share a few little passages from here on mindful eating. So one of the things that you could do when you eat mindfully is you can eat slightly slower. We're so busy in our day-to-day lives that we sometimes forget to take the time to actually process the food that we eat. And so here's a tip. The next time you eat, try slowing down. You'll pour more enjoyment out of your food, feel more satisfied, and your digestive system will thank you. Sounds reasonable. Also, honor the elements where your food comes from, because every piece of food we eat has its own rich origin story, which we usually don't think about. So when you sit down for a meal, take a moment to acknowledge everything that went into what's on your plate. Consider the people who made it, bought the ingredients, stocked the store shelves, delivered it, harvested it, and all the natural elements of sun, rain, soil, and wind that allowed it to grow. It sounds good. When you eat, you also want to use your nose and other senses. So not just what you're tasting, but use your other senses. So our sense of smell has a lot to do with how food tastes. Before eating, pause for a moment to take in the aroma of the food. What sense can you pick up? Does a memory emerge? Take a second and look. What colors do you see? Then take a bite and see how much richer the experience can be. And finally, simply enjoy your food. So we do get a lot of advice on what to eat and how to eat it, and it can be overwhelming and ultimately seriously diminish our experience with food. So in this day and age, we all know that we should eat more healthy, but it's also important to learn how to trust yourself and let go of harsh judgments and enjoy the food that properly fuels our bodies. We're the best sense, or we're the best judge of our own experiences. When you apply mindfulness to your eating, you'll quickly learn what your body wants and what it doesn't really need. And the part that I really enjoyed the most about this section was trying to avoid harsh judgments and simply enjoy the food. So those are some great tips, right? So let's do a little experiment. Or actually, you're going to have to do this with me. If you want, you can press pause and go grab a favorite snack and bring it back. So I'll give you a moment just to do that. Okay, I'm thinking you're back now. So let's do a little experiment. So I have here the cupcake that I put the candle in and we sang happy birthday to Shinran with. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this cupcake. And the first thing I notice with my eyes is that it's yellow. And it's got little swirlies on it, which are enjoyable to look at. And I'm going to take a quick little sniff. Oh yeah, that smell of processed sugar, you can't beat it. But there's also a whiff of lemon in it. So now I'm going to actually kind of feel this in my hand and realize how soft and moist the cake is. And I'm already anticipating what this is going to taste like, and my mouth is beginning to water. But before I do that, I want to also think about everything that went into this cupcake being made. The factory it came from, the people who worked there, the people who came up with the recipe, all the different ingredients that made it so, it's got dairy in it, and it's got wheat in it, so it had to be farmed or come from cows, and people had to nurture the cows or nurture those farms. It had to be stocked on the shelves by the people at the store and kept safe, right? So this is very important. A lot goes into this. And before I take a bite, this is also really important to express our gratitude. So I'm going to put it down for a moment, and I'm going to say, もうみだぶついただきます. All right, so now I'm ready to take this bite. So bear with me. Also, please excuse me because my mom taught me that it's rude to talk and while you have food in your mouth, but I'm going to have to do it for this little experiment we're about to do in mindfulness. So mindful eating, here we go. Mmm, really, really sweet. Notice how slow I'm chewing. I'm enjoying this. So I'm going to take another bite. Mmm. That's the best part. So, so inside is some cream filling. So that's why I had to take the second bite. My first bite, I could taste or I could feel the texture of the icing on top is a little firmer. But then as I bit through that, I can get to the soft cake that was underneath. And then in the second bite, I can enjoy the rich, creamy filling. And I felt the sugar enter my body. And it already can kind of feel me getting a little hyperactive from the sugar's effects. At least I think I can. But it's quite enjoyable. And so anyway, I'll finish eating this after this message is over. But thank you so much for joining me for that. And one last thing we always need to do when we finish a meal. Gochisousama deshita. So by doing that experiment and practicing mindful eating, my question is, does that make me a better Buddhist? No, it doesn't. It might help me enjoy my day a little bit. It helps me appreciate the food more and live my life in a sense of gratitude for how the food ended up, on my plate. But our dear Dharma friend, Shiran Shonin, taught us that any kind of thing that we practice ultimately will be in futility. We're calculating if we think that, oh, if I eat mindfully, or if I practice right meditation, or any other thing along the Eightfold Path or the Six Paramitas are going to get us closer into enlightenment, or it's going to make us a better Buddhist. That's just not how it works. When we do that, we're actually trying to calculate that will help us. But as I shared at the beginning of my Dharma message, we need to be free of calculation. And even the eminent wise and masters of the past finally recognized, or many of them recognized, that there is no calculation when it comes to Amida Buddha and the vow, because the vow comes to us. There's nothing we need to do to bring that vow to us. It comes to us. And we say Namo Amida Butsu as a way to say thank you to Amida Buddha for that. So thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for joining me for Shinran Shonin's birthday. And once again, would you please place your hands together and join me in Gassho? And together we'll recite the name of Amida Buddha, the Buddha of immeasurable life and infinite light. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu, Nammanda Butsu. Thanks again for joining me. Have a wonderful week. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.